If you want to grow your business, there is literally nothing more powerful available to you than the Mastermind Principle. No strategy, no tactic, no marketing hack can ever give you what the Mastermind Principle can give you. And the reason is really simple. You can sum it up with one word, and it is people. There is power in other people. And what I want to do in today's episode is break down for you what the Mastermind Principle is if you've never heard of it. And if you've heard of it or been a part of one, but never fully gotten the benefits from one, I want to break down for you why the Mastermind Principle works when it's done correctly, what the benefits are, and how you can become a part of one. Because I think you should. Let's discuss. Welcome to episode 85 of The Graham Cochrane Show, where I'm here to help you build your online business, work less, and live and give more. I'm your host, Graham Cochrane. Who else? And I'm pumped to hang out with you today. I've really been enjoying your excitement these last couple of weeks. I feel like, at least on the YouTube channel, I'm reading comments. You guys are fired up. There's a lot of activity happening. Last week, we were talking about productivity, and I was sharing with you my stupidly simple productivity system. And a lot of you, that was an eye-opener and really, really exciting. So I'm really, really pumped. This week, I'm getting away for my end-of-the-year planning retreat. I get away for 2 nights, 1 full day. My wife does the same thing. She did hers last week. I'm doing mine this week, where I review how the year went, celebrate the wins, thank God for all that he's done, look at the analytics to make sure I better understood what actually did work and what actually didn't work. And then plan for the new year. I'm going to be planning for 2021. And I'm going to ask it one more time because I'm about to go away here. But if you are interested in me documenting that process in some way, shape, or form of what my weekend away looks like, what those 2 nights away look like, what I do and how I process it, leave me a comment if you're watching on YouTube below, or leave me a review on Apple Podcasts letting me know you listen to this and you're interested. I'm happy to create some content around that trip if that's something you're interested in implementing yourself. Otherwise, I'll ignore it. But I'm going to be doing that this week. But I'm excited to plan for the new year, and I'm glad you guys are excited about that planning process as well. We're going to get into the Mastermind Principle in depth today. Super, super powerful. I just want to offer you something before we dive in. Again, I don't know if this is your first time checking out some of my material, but if you're getting to the end of the year, or if this is in the future and you're watching this and you're like, I need to start my online business. I'm interested in this Mastermind Principle. I need to hear more, but I need to know, like, what do I need to be doing right now to get this business off the ground? I've got you covered. I like to simplify things. And so what I've done is I've put together an entire framework for launching your online business in 30 days. It's my 30-day online income jumpstart. It is a simple PDF. It's a checklist, a weekly checklist of what to do for 4 weeks to go from no audience to making your first income in the next 30 days. This is perfect if you literally have no clue. It's also perfect if you have a clue, but you just need a swift kick in the pants to know what to do and to have some goals and just get out there and do it. Because a lot of you know what to do, you're just not doing it. So sometimes seeing it all laid out of like, week 1, just do this. Week 2, just do this, will help you. Will you make $1 million in 30 days? No, but you will make your first money in 30 days. A lot of my students are making between $500 and $1,000 in this first 30-day period. So it's very possible. It's very doable. It'll walk you through how to make this happen. And I think what it'll do is get you fired up and motivated. So it's free. I want you to have it. It's my 30-day online income jumpstart guide. Just go to grahamcochrane.com/jumpstart. grahamcochrane.com/jumpstart. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll link to it below in the description. Okay, let's dive into the Mastermind Principle. What the heck is the Mastermind Principle? I'm willing to guess that you've heard of it. You either know exactly what it is, been a part of a mastermind, or you've at least heard the concept tossed around. And I only say that because they've become really trendy in the last 10 to 20 years. They're thousands of years old, okay? You could argue that mastermind groups went back to Jesus and his 12 disciples, right? not that he was masterminding with them, but he was really pouring into a group of 12 people, right? Jesus influenced the entire world. I mean, our entire calendar is shaped around when he was born. So he's had influence, obviously, on the entire planet, but even in his lifetime, right, he would speak and teach to thousands of people at a time. But then he really had a group of a few hundred that were really interested. But really, there was 12 people that he spent his life with during those 3 years of public ministry. And then even within those 12, there was 3 that were like his closest disciples. So there's something about the group size of around 12 of putting minds together. So this is an old concept. It became very popular in the business space, business and leadership space, I should say, about 100 years ago by a guy named Napoleon Hill. If you're familiar with his book, Think and Grow Rich, it came out in 1932. That book's almost 100 years old. It's crazy. It's about 90 years since it's been published. But Napoleon Hill was really talking about this principle in the early 1920s. And in his book, Think and Grow Rich, which is a great read, it gets a little squirrely towards the end, in my opinion, but very great read up into the end. A lot of really interesting stuff. But one of the chapters in that book is all about the Mastermind Principle. And this is how he defines the Mastermind Principle. Ready? He says, a mastermind group is, quote, a coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between 2 or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. Are you ready? I'll say that again. A mastermind group, according to Napoleon Hill, is a coordination of knowledge and effort. Really, really key there. Coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between 2 or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. Okay? It's the coming together. It's very simple at its core. It's people coming together, putting their knowledge and their experience together in a spirit of harmony, so they're working together. It's not just one-sided, which is what a lot of groups are. We'll talk about that in a second. I'll share my experience in some mastermind groups. A lot of times it's one-sided, somebody always taking, not everybody giving, but a spirit of harmony. It's 2 or more people, so there's no finite number. There's no, professional, like this is the number. Generally speaking, mastermind groups tend to be around 10 to 12 people. They certainly could be more, but the idea is that it's at least 2 or more people. And what are you coming together for? Some specific, definite purpose. It's not just hanging out. It's not just friends. And this is another reason why a lot of mastermind groups don't work. We'll get into that in a second. So coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between 2 or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. And what I love is he goes on to elaborate on this kind of group when he says, quote, no 2 minds ever come together without thereby creating a third, invisible, intangible force which may be likened to a third mind. Say that again. No 2 minds ever come together without thereby creating a third, invisible, intangible force which may be likened to a third mind. Now, as weird as that third mind concept might sound, it's really a great description of the true power of collaboration. Let's say you and I get together for coffee. We're going to do a temporary mastermind, informal. You have a business, I have a business. You have knowledge, I have knowledge. You have experience, I have experience. You have perspectives, I have perspectives. So 1 + 1 could equal 2. Twice as many perspectives, twice as much knowledge, twice as many experiences. But what Napoleon Hill is saying is it's actually 1 + 1 = 3. When we get together and coordinate our knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony for the attainment of a definite purpose, our knowledge combined, our experience combined, there's a synergy that happens in that moment that creates something more than just the sum of our combined knowledge. It's not just, let's put your facts plus my facts. Now we have more facts and a better picture. That is true, and that's great, right? That's why working with other people is so great. Partnering is great, but there's something more profound that happens when you get together and do that. You both exponentially get unique experience and perspective on each other's perspective that changes your own perspective of what you know. When I teach you what I know, I actually learn more about what I know because of how you interpret that knowledge. In a weird way, that happens with this podcast, with this YouTube channel. When I take what I know and experience and I teach it to you, and then I see in the comments, or I see in an email back from you, or I see in an Apple Podcast review, the way you take that knowledge and apply it, or what your insight is from that knowledge, it gives me additional insight into what I just taught you in a way that I never would have had on my own. So it actually multiplies our knowledge, multiplies my experience in a weird exponential way, just because there's two people connecting, but it becomes bigger than the sum of our two parts. I hope that makes sense. I agree 100% with what Napoleon Hill is saying. And you know this, that it's when we get our perspectives together, we're not just doubling it, we are exponentially increasing them, because there's this energy that you feed off of each other in a powerful way. So in Napoleon Hill's book, he goes on to list a bunch of specific examples from his time period of men that he actually interviewed. That's a big part of Napoleon Hill's experience and his stories. He spent 25 years interviewing over 500 millionaires in the early 20th century in America, finding out what made them successful. And this was one of the trends, was that they all were a part of a mastermind. Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men ever in America, right? Steel magnate, right? Henry Ford of the Ford Motor Company. President Franklin Roosevelt had his brain trusts. And there was these think tanks that the US government had, different names, brain trust, think tank, mastermind, all for the same thing. Getting brilliant people together in a room. Some of the greatest minds in history didn't just figure it out all on their own. They brought together other great minds and said, let's get us all in a room. Let's combine all our knowledge. Let's figure this out together. Let's have a spirit of harmony and coordinate our knowledge and effort for a definite purpose. Okay? So let's break down some of the benefits of a mastermind. And then I'm going to break down some of the examples of masterminds I've been a part of and some of the highlights and lowlights. And then I'm going to talk about 2 ways you can join one. Okay? Benefits. When you're in a true mastermind that works for your business, you gain way more clarity on your branding, way more clarity on your positioning and your messaging. Why does this happen? You know your business inside and out. You know the value, but you also don't know it because you're so close to it. And sometimes it's really hard to put your finger on what it is that you do that makes you so special and makes what you offer so special. When you're in a true mastermind with somebody else who's another business owner, who's not you, they can see what you do and say, that's confusing. I think what you do is this, or I think what's unique about you is this. You can get so much clarity from that outside perspective. They don't have to be a branding expert. In fact, it almost works better if they're not. They're just a potential consumer, but they're also a little bit savvy with business. So they can say, I think you're just confusing people what you do. Isn't this what you do? And you're like, oh yeah, that is what's special about me. Sometimes we don't see our uniqueness, which is our branding, our messaging, our positioning. You get increased income and scale without having to hustle more. Why? Because you get better ideas on ways to multiply what's already working instead of just plowing through and doing more of the same things. The problem when you work by yourself is you just do more of the same thing. You might even listen to this podcast or watch my videos or take a course of mine or somebody else's, and you just get more information. You're like, oh, more crap I got to do. Graham says, join a mastermind. Graham says, do this. More stuff I got to do. And so you just plow through all the things. When you're a part of a mastermind with people who know you and care about you, they'll say, doesn't it seem like what you're doing over here is working way bigger than what you're doing over here? Shouldn't you just do more of this? What if you double down on this? You can grow faster because you get the permission to skip a lot of stuff and just double down on the stuff that really, really matters. In a mastermind, you have a safe space to ask the hard questions. Where are you asking your tough questions? You ask them in comments to these videos. You might be emailing me, but it's hard to get a hold of me all the time. I got a lot of people I'm trying to serve. Who are you able to ask the hard questions in business? I have my wife, and my wife has me a lot of times. So we have a mini mastermind between the two of us. It's called Marriage, between two business owners. She asks me a ton of hard questions. What should I do about this? I'm thinking about this promotion. This isn't working. This broke on my website. What tool should I use? I ask her a ton of questions. How should I promote this? I'm thinking about launching this. What do you think about this? This happened. Where can you ask those hard questions? You get a safe space of people that understand the questions you have and won't judge you for them. At the same time, you have a safe space to celebrate your huge wins and success. When you launch a product and it makes $10,000 in 5 days, who are you going to celebrate with? Your friends who just lost their job in a pandemic? Your friends who are still making $11 an hour at their retail job? Like, there's a level of guilt and fear and insecurity that comes when you start to see some success. When you start to making $10,000 in a week, most people will never see that kind of money in that short of amount of time. So to celebrate with them, unless they're just really good friends and they don't feel insecure about it and you don't feel judged, who are you going to tell? Hopefully your spouse, hopefully your significant other, hopefully a family member, but even then it becomes awkward. I know when my business started to really pick up, I was like, I can't really even talk about this with my family. It's weird. I don't know. Do I bring it up? Having a mastermind of other people who are in the same place as you are, trying to do the same things, where you can say, hey, I'm not here to brag, but I need to celebrate this win. If you don't celebrate the wins, it gets really weird. Trust me, you have these amazing wins, but then you just move on and I guess I'll launch something else, or I guess I got to top that 10,000 or whatever the number is. And since you never celebrated, you never feel good about it. You never feel like you arrived, and you just beat yourself up and you move the goalpost further and further ahead. And then all of a sudden, well, it's got to be 20,000. It's got to be 100,000. It's got to be this. And then you become miserable while you're making a ton of money. I know from experience. It is a weird phenomenon that I never thought would be possible. That's what happens when you're in isolation. You have no one who understands that you can come to the brag table. This is something John Acuff said years ago, is he had a buddy where they'll text each other and they do this together, like, can I come to the brag table is what he'll text his buddy. And his buddy knows exactly what that means. That means, yes, go ahead. Tell me what just happened. That's awesome. That you can celebrate safely between us because we get it. Dude, I just landed a 6-figure client. Dude, my book sales just soared, or I got on Oprah, or it just, made whatever. I don't know what it is, right? You need a place. You need to be able to come to the brag table, and your mastermind group is a place to do that. Fourth thing a mastermind gives you, you can build your confidence. You become more confident when you're around other people who validate what's working in you, who see the good in you, who basically remind you that you are crushing it, because you might not be getting the metrics you want in some of the sales or some of your opt-ins or whatever. But if other people who understand what you're doing see it and say, what you do here is so great and unique, or I've learned so much of this from you, you build your confidence. When you build your confidence, you become more successful and you become a better influencer online because you have better clarity about who you are, why you're valuable, and you're more motivated to go out and crush it. So confidence is huge. It really is. It's one of those hard, intangible things to measure, but those who have confidence are way more successful. And if you don't have it, you can create it, but you need other people around you to help you create it. And finally, it surrounds you with a supportive peer group who will do a few things. Lift you up when you're down, so important. Challenge you to grow, so important. At some point, you just get tired, but you should always be growing. And hold you accountable to your goals. Accountability is so important. We talked about goals last week. Setting goals. I use a calendar, I use my notes app, but I need other people to hold me accountable. Now, I'm pretty self-disciplined, so I was able to go years without any kind of mastermind group or accountability. Not everyone has that same personality. I get that. But all of us need accountability. We need a safe place where we can say, hey, I want to launch this thing by this date. Hold me accountable. Check in with me. So every week you get together on your call or whenever it is, Graham, are you making progress on that thing? Did you launch that thing? Did you work on that book proposal? Did you work on that sales copy? Did you work on that new post you were going to do? Whatever it is, right? Accountability is huge. These are all just a snapshot of the things that are going to happen when you're part of a healthy mastermind. Now, I ran my first business, The Recording Revolution, by myself for the first 5 years of my business, possibly 6. Did it all by myself, not just doing the work, but it was just me. And Shay was there the whole way. So I would talk to her, but I basically did everything in isolation. I got to a point about 2014, 2015, where I was plateauing. I was plateauing in my business, out of ideas. Revenue was amazing for me. It was just amazing, but plateauing. And not only was I plateauing, but I was burned out. And you burn out not just by working a lot, because I don't work a lot and I never have, but you burn out when you're carrying the mental burden by yourself. Does that make sense? So I had been carrying the mental burden virtually by myself for 5 years, and I was done. At that point, I joined my first mastermind. I was approached by a group of people who were already doing cool things in their online business space, had seen me. I did a guest post on someone's blog. I want to say it was Growth Lab by Ramit. And some of his other students or other people that read his blog reached out to me, thought they loved my story and that I was successful in my business. And they said, hey, we're considering putting together a mastermind group. It's going to be 4 or 5 of us people. Do you want to join? I said, sure. I'm lonely. So I joined, right? And this group was made up of some amazing entrepreneurs who've gone on to do amazing things. I loved their ambition. I loved the accountability. I loved the motivation. The problem for me in that group was that I was way farther ahead in my business journey than they were. And so I was in a very different place than they were. And so when I would bring up my challenges, like burnout, not feeling it anymore, like just wanting to chill for a long time, they were like in hustle mode. They were like, let's do this, let's grow. And so we had a disconnect there and it just wasn't a good fit long term. So I bowed out. And I've since been a part of about 3 or 4 other mastermind groups. Some were informal with friends. Some were paid mastermind groups that I was a part of. And I've learned that there's 2 things that are really critical to making a mastermind work. One of them is going back to Napoleon Hill's point of attaining a definite purpose. You gotta know what the purpose of the group is. I've been in a couple groups where the purpose was either not very clear or it wasn't the same purpose I had. I've been in groups where the purpose was just moderate growth and a little bit of community and encouragement. And while community and encouragement are important, that's why I joined, when I would look around the table, I realized these people aren't really worried about growing their business. They're really just worried about keeping the doors open and maintaining. I want to be challenged to grow. Like, I really want to be challenged to grow. Not just make more money, but like I want to be, I'm a creative at heart, so I want to be doing new things and trying new things and learning new things. I didn't sense that at the table. And so when I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like we didn't have the same definite purpose, right? So having the same definite purpose is really, really important, I think. Where are we going? We want to go into the same place. So the more specific your group can be in terms of what its goal is, the better. Also, and this one is controversial because I almost disagree with myself on this next one. I think it's important to have a similar group of people in the group. But I also disagree with that. I think a similar group of people, meaning people who understand your world. So as an online business owner doing digital products, I've been in groups where there's nobody in the online space and they don't understand what I do. And that becomes a barrier to growth because I'll ask specific questions that I really need someone who understands the online marketing space to speak into. Otherwise, they're just like, well, that sounds great. That's amazing. I would love to be able to launch a course and make $300,000. Like, well, good for you. And it's so I felt some friction there when they don't understand the language that I'm speaking and they can't really speak into my situation. At the same time, it really does benefit you to be in a group of people that have different businesses than you because you learn from people who have different skill sets than you. So I think all that to say, even though that sounds contradictory, is you want a group of people that understand your world, but also have different things to bring to the table. If you're all doing the exact same thing in the exact same way, it's going to be hard because you're coordinating knowledge and effort, but it's not that diverse. If it's too diverse, it's hard to really help each other, I think. So you want to look for a group of people who have experience similar to yours and know your world, but also have diverse knowledge and experience that could benefit you, and your diverse knowledge and experience could benefit them. You want to have people who have a same definite purpose, right? So get specific. Is that I want to reach 6 figures in my business, my online business. Let's help each other reach 6 figures or 7 figures or, whatever it is. Or we're making good money, but I want to be able to be more efficient and have more passive income, help us each other to work less, right? So have a definite purpose. A spirit of harmony is so important. I've been in groups where there are just takers, right? That they love being in the group because they get all this feedback, but they never give. So you need a group of people that it's unified in that, like, we all mutually serve each other. And that's a personality thing. And that's just like getting the right people on board. So the question you might be asking is, how do you join one? Where do you find a mastermind group? Well, it's real simple. There's only 2 ways to join one. One is to pay to be in one. Pay to be in one. Most masterminds are paid. There might be a free one out there that you can request to join, but most masterminds are paid if there's one that you want to join that already exists. There's something about paying to be at a table of other like-minded entrepreneurs. We all take it seriously. It's a high commitment. And so generally speaking, you have to pay to join one, or you can start one yourself. You can start one yourself. Literally, I have gone to conferences. A year and a half ago, went to the Kajabi Impact Summit, the first ever Kajabi conference out in Irvine, California. And it was amazing. At that conference, when you got to the conference, the Kajabi gave you like these pins that you could dangle around your neck or you could pin to your clothes that showed like how much money you made on the platform. So if you were a 1K hero, like you've made $1,000 selling products on Kajabi, or a 10K hero, or a 50K, or a 100K, or a 500K, or $1 million, right? So I've done literally millions of dollars on Kajabi. And so I was one of just a handful of people at this conference. There's more now in the last 18 months. But back a year and a half ago, there was only a few of us. I was one of a handful of people to get the $1 million pin because I made over $1 million on the platform. So I'm walking around the whole conference. They want you to wear it. And it was kind of cool. It was almost like people were bragging, like looking at people's pins. And so they gave me, so I had all the pins I had because I reached all the levels. So I'm like a rapper in a rap video. I've got all this bling around my neck. And it's like the one place in the world where I can go and walk around with like $1 million bedazzled, literally fake diamond bedazzled pin dangling around my neck and not feel like a total idiot or a weirdo, because everybody understood. So when I'd be in line at the bathroom, or when I would be like waiting to get into the next session, or when I would be at the bar at the hotel afterwards just talking to people would look and be like, oh my gosh, you've made over $1 million. What do you do? What's your name? So people would come up to me. And at one of those evenings, there was like a meet and greet hangout. And so we're just having a drink. I'm standing at the bar. I'm literally standing by myself because I went by myself because I'm a weirdo and I go by myself to these things. And a couple of people were like awkwardly stalking me and like looking at me. So I I just take a sip of my old fashioned and like, look, what are these people looking at me? And then they kind of stalk me, come up to me, and they were all $1 million entrepreneurs as well. And so they're like, dude, we were trying to meet all the other 1 million people and we hadn't met you yet. So what's your name? What do you do? And so I got to know them at the conference. They were amazing people. And we stayed in touch on Facebook. So all I have to say is we had a little mini Facebook chat going that we used as an informal mastermind. We were all at a similar level, had made $1 million or more on the platform, all doing information product type businesses to some degree, but in different niches. We had a videographer. We had a guy who taught investment trading. We had a girl who taught women how to sell essential oils, and me. Oh, and we had a guy, Shane, who does 3D animation and animation for video games, and he teaches people how to do that. And then I'm doing music and online business stuff. So very different businesses and different ways we got into this and different skill sets. One of the guys is great at Facebook ads. One of the guys is great at video. One of the guys is great at community. One of the gals is just great at like connecting with everybody. And so we kind of would just like ask each other questions. And it wasn't a formal meeting. It was just a Facebook group. So all I have to say is you can start one by meeting people at a conference, start one with a friend. According to Napoleon Hill, all you need is one other person, 2 or more minds together to create that third mind, right? In a spirit of harmony, coordinating your knowledge and effort for a definite purpose. So you can start one. Now, I'm going to make an announcement here in case you were wondering, because I've been asked this and I've done them in the past, but I haven't in a while. I am launching a brand new mastermind. It's called the Epic Mastermind, and it is epic. That's why we called it that. I was literally talking to my wife about this mastermind and how it's going to be epic, and I couldn't come up with a name. She's like, you should call it the Epic Mastermind. So thanks, babe. It's the Epic Mastermind. And I'm opening doors. It's some slots right now as we speak. If you're already seeing this, I don't know if the slots will be open if this is in the future. This is a small group of people that I am making my highest coaching priority every single week. Instead of spreading myself super thin, I want to go real deep with a small group of people. There's a limited number of spots. It is a paid mastermind. It is not cheap. There's specific requirements to be in the mastermind. There is an application process, but if you want to check it out and see if you meet the criteria and if it sounds like something you're interested in and apply to be considered for a spot, please do so. Just go to grahamcochrane.com/epic. All the details are there. And I'm going to link to it below if you're watching on YouTube. So shameless plug for my mastermind. It's not right for most people, but it's going to be right for the right people. And I'm being very selective and curating a group of highly successful, highly ambitious, highly servant-oriented digital entrepreneurs to work with and help take your business to the next level in a deep, deep way. I want your business to be epic, which literally means remarkable, right? Grand in scale. So that's what I'm going to help you do in the Epic Mastermind. Already been interviewing people. I opened the application process to my members of my six-figure coaching community earlier last week. And I've just started to let my community know here and in my email list. So if you're at all interested, it's first come, first serve on the application process, but details are all there at grahamcochrane.com/epic. So certainly you can join that. If that's something that you don't meet the criteria for or can't afford or it's not the right fit for, I have a membership site. It's my six-figure coaching community. And this group of entrepreneurs, it's open to anybody that wants to join. There's a little bit of a criteria there, but it's a lot easier to get into and a lot more affordable. The doors are currently closed, but there is a waiting list, and I'll be opening the doors in January, most likely. So if you want to get on the waiting list, so you'll be notified about that when you can join. And this is a group of people that I'm helping every single week. It's an amazing group, super, super amazing. The quality of people, not only what they're doing in their business is impressive, but like the quality of people is insanely amazing. It's not a mastermind, but there are people masterminding in the group, right? Literally jumping on calls with each other, helping each other out. It is a great place to find like-minded people. You're going to get content from me, coaching from me, all these great things throughout the month, every single month. But it's a great place to meet other like-minded people and a lot more affordable. And the doors are open to as many that want to join when I do open the door. So go to grahamcochrane.com/six-figures. I'll link below, spelled out, grahamcochrane.com/six-figures, all one word, to get on the waiting list so that you'll be notified when that opens up. I only open it up twice a year, but I want you to join that if that's something you're considering as well. So a couple of levels there, the Epic Mastermind, six-figure coaching community. And if neither of those are a fit for you or you don't have the money to spend, find one other person. Find somebody in the YouTube comments below if you're watching on YouTube, but find one other business owner who's at a similar stage to you that can bring something to the table and you can bring something to the table and get together and make a plan to regularly meet for accountability, for motivation, for workshopping ideas, for sharing wins, for sharing losses, helping each other succeed. There is the third mind that will be created when you put your two minds together. That's going to help you explode in your business. You don't need to be with some expert to get the benefits of the Mastermind Principle, but start your own. Start your own. If you can't join one or can't afford to be one or no one's inviting you, start your own. You'd be amazed at what you can accomplish in a year of masterminding with somebody, regularly working together. It will blow you away. I can't recommend it enough. Don't run your business by yourself. You don't have to have a team, but don't do it all by yourself. Have somebody else. Make sense? Okay. A lot of things I threw at you today. A lot of things for you to check out. Linked below if you're watching on YouTube. the Epic Mastermind, if that seems like a good fit for you. Six-figure coaching community, if that seems like a better fit for you, you can get on the waiting list for that. And also, I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, if you just need to start your business, my 30-day online income Jumpstart guide will help you out. Make your first few $100 in the next 30 days. Just grahamcochrane.com/jumpstart. I'll link to that below. But I want to hear from you if you're watching on YouTube. Leave me a comment below. Are you in a mastermind currently? And if you aren't, when are you going to join one or start one? Let me know in a comment below. I want to know that I want to hold you accountable to become someone who masterminds with other people. You will see so much growth when you do. Okay? Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. It means a ton. Hope you're staying healthy and safe. And I'll see you on another episode real soon.